Hello, this is Baron West, and I'm going to talk about Gundam Battle Operation 2. I've been playing it since the North American launch, and one thing that would have helped me a whole lot as a beginner is an explanation of the custom parts. Some parts, like the firing and melee enhancements or the ballistic and beam defense, are self-explanatory. Others, like the special leg armor, are misleading. I'm going to make a quick overview of these parts to explain how they work. And I'll start with the shields. The shield enhancements seem straightforward because it adds HP to a unit shield, but it's actually a very common mistake that I see beginners make, and they will equip shield parts to units that don't have shields. A shield part actually shows up in the sub-weapon category and has HP. So a weapon like Jan's Needler isn't actually a shield because it has no shield HP. So it's not like Guard Custom's shield because that has HP and is a weapon, but Jan's shield is just a weapon and has no shield HP. You'll notice that it never breaks if you're a Jan player, so that should kind of be a clue. Same thing with Zuda. Zuda has a reinforced shield tackle as one of his skills, but that shoulder pauldron or that shoulder pad that Zuda has isn't actually a shield, and there's no shield HP for it. You know, if it's not listed in the sub-weapons, it isn't actually a shield. A lot of the Zeon units look like they should have shields by that definition, but they actually don't. Don't equip shield parts to units that don't have shields. The next part I'm going to talk about is the force cooling system. It helps the units cool down once it's in overheat. That means it's the red boost bar that it helps to recover. In contrast, the cooling system helps the blue boost gauge recover. Force cooling, red boost gauge, recover faster. Cooling system, blue boost gauge, recover faster. It's pretty straightforward. The force cooling does help Zaku Commander and Gundam GB02 FB to recover from their overheat from overboost much faster. So it's definitely good in those situations. Likewise, any unit that has a level 2 emergency roll, like GB01, Galbaldi, so on and so forth, and everybody who has Exam, Hades, Demon Blade, blah, 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 you want to use the cooling system when they don't overheat, because that way you get a little bit more bang for your buck out of your thruster gauge consumption. Same thing if you're using Zero Shiki or Rick Diaz, who has the double shield tackle. 80 ASL is probably the most useless part in the game. It increases the automatic sight leveling of your automatic weapons, but it increases it by such a small amount, there's no real point to equipping it. In my opinion, you're better off simply equipping the field motor, which increases turning speed for units. It's just overall a better part all day long, just way better. Quick loader is pretty straightforward. It helps ballistic rounds reload faster, but it also helps units that have EPAC reload faster. So that means Zeta Gundam, Mark II, GP01, and GP03. The auxiliary generator helps the reload of beam weapons in overheat. So the red bar, not the blue bar of the beam weapon. It's great for Unit 4's particle cannon, White Dingo's prototype beam rifle, and the EMP flash used by the DOMs. The focusing ring strictly decreases the focusing time when you have to hold down the firing button to make a charge shot. It does not have any additional purpose. The database link is the most misleading of all these parts, as are all the special parts armor. The database link doesn't actually increase the damage done to the head, legs, or back. Instead, certain parts like the legs are allocated 60% of the main body's HP. So the database link reduces that HP allocation to 57%. Having both database link 1 and 2 will reduce that HP to 51%. Special leg armor increased the amount of HP allocated to the leg, and the important thing is that none of these special armors stack. Level 2 overwrites level 1. They don't build together. So if they're both equipped, the higher one will take priority. The other aspect of the leg armor is it only works on the ground. On the flip side of that, special back armor only works in space. Doesn't make sense, doesn't have to, that's just how it is. Only the head armor works in both ground and space. And it might seem like it's not useful, but on something with a big head like Gotcha, it makes a difference. Thruster control parts don't actually increase a unit's boost speed, they only increase the thruster gauge so a unit can boost for longer. High spec cruise control increases the normal walking speed of a unit or the flying speed of a unit in space, but it does not increase the speed of a unit's boost. The only thing to note about the melee enhancement parts is if you're in mobile armor mode and you max out your melee enhancement, it's not going to affect the damage of that unit's ramming attack. It's a fixed value. So even if you have, melee enhancement 4, 3, 2, and 1, if you ram somebody with, say, Gabflay, it's only going to do 2,000 damage, just period. Battle Operation 2, there's no option to increase the turning sensitivity. Each unit has its own turning speed, which for some units is really bad. As such, the field motor is awesome on supports that have slow turning speed, or some generals and some raids. It's also very fun to put on these exam mode units, which get the boost in turning speed, so you can perform these kind of crazy maneuvers that you can't normally do. Yeah, that should be all you need to know to get yourself off to a good start. I hope this video reached you well, and have fun playing.